This live event is sponsored by VACAY-JayTV Drip and Swag. That's right, VACAY-JayTV Drip and Swag, 10% off right now while supplies last. And we got the new VACAY-JayTV brims. If you would like to sponsor or see your ad here before a live event, email us at VACAYJayTV@gmail.com. All right, fam, what's going on, fam? It's your man, VACAY-Jay, and yes, I'm back with another video. This is for episode 7, recap of Bel-Air, and yes, we have a lot going on in this episode, a lot of pressures, a lot of discrepancies, and yes, we see it, a new character on the scene. That's right, you see it right here. Let's break it down. So the name of this episode is Under Pressure, and the description reads, external dilemmas throw Carlton and Will off track and prevent them from fully preparing for the Founders Award. And yeah, this definitely went haywire, fam. Let's break down exactly what went down in this episode. So we see Uncle Phil, Aunt Viv, and they cook breakfast, and they are excited. Why? Because they're celebrating their son and their nephew's nomination for the Founders Award. You know, they're like, listen, we don't want any discrepancies, but, you know, Aunt Viv, she has her doubts about it, and she doesn't want them to fight each other. They promise to not fight, and they know that it's a competition. Let the best man win. So we'll see what happens with that. But, you know, your boy, Uncle Phil, says he's going to help out, right? So, absolutely, we're on the golf course, and Carlton's making jokes like, yeah, you know, unfortunately, they don't have a slam dunk contest for the competition, but they do have a golf competition. Uncle Phil says, yeah, that's right, but he's willing to help out Will if he makes the time to put into the Founders Award and learn what he needs to learn, talk about talking points and everything else like that. So Will is with that, but at the same time, he does have basketball practice and school at the same time. So Uncle Phil's willing to put in the time for him, but Will has to put in the time. So now he gets a phone call and he talks to Jeffrey and say, hey, listen, it's time. What is it time for? They all go to the shop, and what do we see? We see Aunt Viv sitting with a young man. Who is this young man? Well, it's obvious that your boy Jeffrey is nervous about meeting this young man sitting with Aunt Viv. And who is it? Yes, it's his son. That's right. They got his son to come over the pond. Now they're in California for Jeffrey to finally meet his son after all of these years. Being that he couldn't meet him, but now that he's of age, he is happy to finally see his son. And you see that he's getting very emotional. So they sit down and they're talking, and he says, you know, I heard a lot about you, you know, Jeffrey, I heard a lot about you. And, you know, there's a lot going on. And he's like, listen, don't believe everything you hear, but I'm more than willing to tell you everything about my life and about what I went through and where we are today. So, you know, there's obviously some awkwardness to this, him seeing his son for the very first time after all of these years. But again, he is reassuring him that he's going to tell him everything about him so his son can get to know him a little bit better. Here we are with Carlton, and Carlton's working on, you know, his documents and flyers for the Founders Award. He's excited about it. And here comes Uncle Phil, and he's like, yeah, looking good, son. He says, listen, you know, everybody needs to do what they got to do, but I need to help out Will so he has a fair shot. You know what you're doing. And of course, Carlton's like, yeah, okay, you know, help him out, do what you got to do. But you know, he's in his feelings about that as well. We are Jazz Record Store, and your boy Will is trying to talk to Jazz and trying to get Jazz and Hillary back together. So he's letting them know, hey, listen, you know, she's thinking about you. And at the same time, he's telling Hillary the same thing. And she's just like, listen, you know, I just need him to step up and be a man, be a boyfriend, and, you know, take me out on a date or something. So Will's like, listen, why don't you take out on a date? You know, just make it happen. And again, they're trying to figure things out about each other, but Will is trying to piece it all together. And he convinces Jazz to give her a call to set up a date so they can go and kind of settle things out and get back to normal, right? So, you know, Jazz feels some type of way about the ex-boyfriend. So we'll see what happens with that. Now, Uncle Phil meets up with James, you know, the guy from the firm. He's like, listen, what's going on as far as bringing that business back? Uncle Phil is telling him, listen, he's working on it. The guy, James, he doesn't believe him. He's like, listen, all the partners are getting, you know, nervous. Uncle Phil's like, listen, don't worry about it. Tell him to chill. I'm working on it. But of course, there's a lot going on with Phil. And remember, he got a special offer from his ex-girlfriend. So here we are. We see Aunt Viv and Hillary's talking about this piece online, the unknown person. And she shows her the pic. And it's Aunt Viv's pic, but nobody knows it's Aunt Viv. She's like, oh, my piece is getting all these likes and all this and that. And again, nobody knew. And Hillary's surprised as well. And she's like, yeah, with the fellowship, I didn't want to mess things up. Now, Hillary's like, nah, people need to know who it is. They've been trying to find out. Let me show you how to work this social media thing. So she's excited and she's going to help out Aunt Viv. Meanwhile, Will has to go to practice and he forgot that he was supposed to be meeting up with Uncle Phil so Uncle Phil could help him with his talking points for the Founders Award. His teammates remind him, hey, you know what? You're late, man. Let's go, let's go, let's go. So, of course, Will is like, hey, man, what y'all standing around for? Let's go. Let's make it happen. So Connor rolls up on your boy Carlton because, he's also in the competition as well for the Founders Award. And they're just talking trash and all this and that, right? So here we go. This guy is chasing after Lisa. He's like, Lisa, Lisa. And Lisa's just like, listen, you had a fight with Carlton. Carlton's my friend. And, I don't like what's going down. He's like, listen, I'm sorry. That's not who I am. And he's trying to apologize, trying to get in good with her. And it looks like, of course, she's going to give him the opportunity with everything that happened with Will. So now here we are. Your boy, Uncle Phil, has a meeting with his ex-girlfriend, Erica. And he's brought into a conference room with the entire staff and all the other attorneys as well. They are rolling out the red carpet for your boy, Uncle Phil, not only right there in the office, but they have all the attorneys from all over the world saying that he has access to all of these attorneys, all of the resources, everything. They're impressed with what he did with the firm that he helped create. But now over here at this firm, they want to roll out the red carpet and give him everything. All of these couple of hundred lawyers and all of these resources and paralegal. And they're really trying to impress Uncle Phil. So he comes over to that firm. And of course, Erica's like, listen, this is a place, this is home. You can do whatever you want here. You can build whatever you want here with all of these clients, all of these people, all of these resources and everything we got. So Frederick, who is Jeffrey's son, is introduced to the mansion. He's like, I didn't know you lived in a castle, man. He's like, listen, I just manage the affairs. The house is just a perk. And she's like, yeah, maybe a perk, but we couldn't get along. So here comes Aunt Viv and Aunt Hillary. Like, we couldn't get along without Jeffrey. Jeffrey knows everything. Hillary's like, yeah, he stopped me from running away 3 times. And, they're just bigging up Jeffrey as to how great of a person he is, how well he is helping the family and everything else like that. Jeffrey's a very important person to the family. And obviously, Frederick is seeing all of this and seeing how important he is. So meanwhile, we're at the display for the Founders Award, and we see Carlton talking about, yeah, my friend Obama. He's really trying to impress the student body. Here comes Will late from practice and everything else like that, kind of fumbling. And he's asked, what does he think about, the whole foundation of the Founders Award and all the principles. And he's fumbling, going through, trying to find his notes and everything. But he's like, forget the notes. I'm not perfect. Just regular guy, I don't have the suits, the ties, but I think that's what makes a great leader, just somebody who just has to adapt and shift and learn how to really get along with everybody. So he does a pretty good speech, but still doesn't cover the Founders Award as far as their principles and 5 principles and everything else like that. So he's still trying to fumble. And Carlton's like, while he's fumbling, let me let you know this and let you know that. So he's going into whatever he's talking about. And then all of a sudden, the student body gets a text message with a video. And what is that video? Remember in the first season when Carlton and your boy Corny Connor was singing, that Bobby Shmurda song and saying the N-word in the song. Well, Connor was saying the word and your boy Carlton was dancing along with it. And Will was like, remember? He came and he was like, yo, you can't say that word. Stop saying that word. They was about to fight and Carlton pretty much co-signed on Connor saying the N-word and dancing along like he is a Uncle Tom. Boom. Terrible for Carlton. So here we go. Of course, Aunt Viv is celebrating Uncle Phil with his offer. And he's really like, yo, they rolled out the red carpet for me. She's like, you considering this? He's like, yeah, I think I have to. So now here we go with Aunt Viv. And Aunt Viv is getting online. She's going online and just expressing how, she wants better for, up and coming artists, wants better for herself. And yes, the art piece is hers. And, it was just the silencing of the voices of the people, of women. And she wants to absolutely spread her message. And of course, the folks online are showing her love, sending hearts and the whole nine. So now the student body threw Carlton's flyer on the ground. They are mad with him. They are upset with him. Him and Connor are pretty much out of it. They are not even considering corny Connor. And because Carlton went along with, Connor saying the N-word, he is looking terrible right now. And now he's upset, but he's upset at Will and blaming Will for the video. Will is trying to plead with him like, yo, I didn't send that video. How does he even have that video? You know what I'm saying? Like, he was in the video, so he wasn't recording the video. So they come in cursing at each other. Of course, Uncle Phil's like, what's going on? He's like, yeah, see, we are having a discrepancy and this is what happened. And people see this video and all this and that. And he's like, well, you wanted to help out Will because you didn't think Will was good enough. He's like, that's what you think? He's like, no, I just think that you're not consistent and all this and that. And Will says something back out of his mouth, and your boy, Uncle Phil, is not having it. And he's like, listen, and Aunt Phil tries to interrupt. He's like, listen, you fix your mouth to talk back to me like I'm not trying to help you. How do you feel and how you going to feel when Doc, who tried to, inspire you to do this and go for this award, doesn't get any money from my bank account? It's like, yo, I'm just take care of myself. And Will walks out like, yeah, I got practice. Terrible. A lot of pressure going on. So here we go with Jazz and Hillary, and they are at Hillary's favorite restaurant. Obviously, it's an expensive restaurant. And Jazz, he's ready to just kind of mend things and put things back together. So he's toasting it up for them reuniting, coming back together, trying to put things aside so they can move forward in this relationship. Meanwhile, your boy Frederick, he's looking at pictures in the office, and he sees a picture of Jeffrey and the boys. And I think, Frederick's feeling some type of way about that because they know him, but he doesn't know anything about him. So Jeffrey comes in and says, yeah, he wants to take him to his favorite pub. It's not like back in England. And, Frederick's just like, yo, I need to get back on the plane. I need to leave. It's just all of a sudden I feel some type of way. And he's like, yo, I just don't know you. You know what I'm saying? And, of course, Jeffrey's like, yo, I'm willing to let you know everything about me. I'm telling you everything about me. And pretty much, his son is just on some like, yo, let's end it on a high note. You know what I'm saying? I don't know anything about you. You don't know anything about me. We're both doing well. Let's just leave it at that. He's feeling some type of way. He's definitely in his feelings, seeing that Jeffrey's important to everybody, and it wasn't important for him to come back and get him. So here we are with Will hanging out with the fellas. They just really bonding and everything and talking about going to college and going to the NBA, taking care of family. And they kind of connect with Will just on some bonding stuff. Here comes Jackie, and she is super toasted. So toasted, she rolls up on Will, gives him a hard kiss, and she's trying to come on to him. She's like, hey, come on over here. And, Will's like, yo, I'm kind of in the middle of something, da-da-da. And she's like, oh, I know when I'm being rejected. And she's all drunk. She is toasted up. And Will is like, what the heck is going on? He's never seen that side of her before. So here we go with Carlton, and he's talking about everything that just happened and how the school thinks he's an Uncle Tom and how, he allowed all of this going on. And again, he's being canceled right now pretty much. And Aunt Viv is just like, yo, we've all made mistakes in high school and everything, a million mistakes. It just wasn't being recorded on, a phone. So she's just trying to encourage him to keep his head up and don't worry about it. Just push forward through all the mistakes. We're all going to make mistakes. We're all going to keep moving forward. So here we go with Jackie. And Jackie, she is pouring more and drinking more. And Will's like, yo, I ain't trying to mess up your vibe, but yo, you got to slow down. So she's bumbling and stumbling, and she hits this girl, and she calls this girl a B. And she's like, what you say? And they're about to fight. And yo, Will just snatches up like, yo, you got to chill. And she's like, you know what? Forget you, Bel-Air and all this and that. And then dude is like, yo, man, it's on you to bring her home. What did she do? She fell out. And Will is like, dang, he really doesn't like this side of her and was not expecting all of this. So here we go with Jazz. They're having a good time. Your boy's simping on your girl. He's loving on her and trying to love on her, whatever. But here comes the waitress like, yeah, do you have another card, sir? He's like, nah, I don't have another card. The money's on there. Try it again. And she's like, sir, can you give us another card? Hillary comes out with her platinum card. It's like, here, can you take this? And of course, Jazz is feeling some type of way about it. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of embarrassing. It's definitely embarrassing. And he's really just like, yo, you just pull out your card or whatever. He's really embarrassed about the whole situation, even though he has the money. So here we go. Will brings Jackie back to Doc's house. They live together and he takes care of her. So he's like, yo, bro, like, get your girl, get your niece. He's like, yo, hold tight, while I take care of her. So now they're outside and Doc is talking to Will. He's like, yeah, I pretty much took her in. Her mom had her in high school and she's pretty much like my daughter. And, Will's just like, yo, that's cool. And then, Will's talking about Uncle Phil. He wouldn't be where he is if it wasn't for Uncle Phil. So, Will kind of exposes everything that happened. So here we go. Your boy Frederick is about to leave. And Uncle Phil just explains to Frederick that your father's always been in your life. You stayed in a 2-flat, bedroom and all this and that. And you went to private school. Who you think paid for all of that? When your foster parents lost their job, who you think paid for your meals for you and your siblings to never go hungry? It was Jeffrey all that time, making sure all the bills were paid, even when the foster parents couldn't work and they had food on the plate every single time. That was dope, Uncle Phil. Super dope move. So here we go. We're seeing Aunt Viv and she's looking at her video. And yeah, now it's time. They're talking about time to talk, and that's the fellowship. She's like, oh, man. So now we're back at the house, and Jazz is like, yo, man, you should have let them run the card again, because I know there's the money on there. She's like, I don't even care about that. It's not about the money. And of course, your boy's on some like, yeah, well, if Lamarcus, you would have gave him the benefit of the doubt. So she's like, listen, I can't dance around your insecurities anymore. And it is like he's being a little bit insecure. But she's just like, yo, like you being insecure about this whole situation, like, I'm tired of it. And he's just like, yo, I'm just a come up and I see all your friends is talking like that and all your influences. And she's like, yo, I can't do this anymore. And she kicks your boy out the door. I mean, bro, like you being insecure about the whole situation. Yeah, your card didn't work. You shouldn't have made it a big deal. And now you got to go. So it's over between them two. Here we go with this corny dude. And he's saying, yeah, well, because of that video, Carlton's out of it. And Will's like, yo, all this time, me and Carlton going back and forth. You the one that put that video out. You recorded and put the video out. He's like, yeah, but can you prove it? This guy's been trying to come for Carlton all this time. Here comes Lisa talking about, yeah, you ready for lunch? Talking to the corny dude. He's like, all right, see you later, William. And it's just like, man, he's the one that caused the discrepancy. Even though it made Will look like a hero, it still messed up his cousin. So somehow, some way, we're going to get back at that cat. So here we go with Jeffrey, and he's feeling kind of down because the son left. But look, yeah, Frederick is back, and he's like, hey, you know what? It was a flight delay. How about another game? Of course, Jeffrey is super happy to see that his son didn't leave. And, I think that Frederick really thought about it. And thanks to Uncle Phil, he knows way more that, your boy has always been in his life, always been in his life. His father's always been there. So now we see Doc, and Doc is like, yo, you starting now. He's like, what? It's like, yeah, get on the line. That's right. Because Will looked out for his niece and everything, and they bonded. I think that's what's going on, where Doc is like, yo, I'm going to look out for Will. And because he's looking out for my family, it's all about family. So here we go with Carlton explaining exactly what happened, that the video is not capped, that it's true, and that he's been trying to deal with the pressures of Bel-Air. He keeps talking about the pressures of Bel-Air, the pressures of Bel-Air. But while he's talking about that and going live online and people are watching, all the students are watching, Will is playing this game. He's definitely doing his thing, but also dealing with his pressures. Jazz is doing his thing as well, but dealing with the pressures of being insecure and dealing with the pressures of being with Hillary, who is a high profile type of person. Of course, you got Uncle Phil, and he's dealing with his pressure of dealing with the firm that he tried to help build, but also wants to take advantage of that offer. And of course, Aunt Viv is dealing with her pressures as well. Uncle Phil's still getting a message from James, like any progress with the client, what's going on. Now, as the student body is watching Carlton's video, they're all looking at each other like, yo, we all kind of deal with the pressures. We've all made mistakes. It just hasn't been recorded. And he's saying, I know I'm not alone as far as making mistakes that, I wish everybody would forgive. So he hangs up and all of this and that. But unfortunately, your boy pulls out that little bit of nose candy that, yeah, Corny Connor gave him, and he takes it. Dang. Carlton's back at it again, using the little product to deal with the pressures of life. And this is high school, fam. So that's the recap for episode 7 of Bel-Air, family. Let me know, drop your comments below. Let me know your thoughts on this one right here. Definitely a really good episode dealing with the pressures of life and just the pressures of everything that we all kind of go through, family. If you find me for the first time, definitely hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. I appreciate you all for watching. Thank you for your love, your shares, your likes, and everything, fam. Again, I appreciate you all for watching. If you love this video, like this video, appreciate this video, definitely check out these videos right here. Until next time, salute.